In an age of infinite leverage, judgment is the most important skill. According to Naval, in today's time, judgment is one of the most important skills, and it becomes even more important when you have high leverage. He explains this point with Warren Buffett's example. If Warren Buffett loses all his money today, even then, all the investors would run to him and ask him for investment advice, and they would be happy to pay him a good percentage of that investment. In simple words, judgment is knowing or accurately predicting the long-term consequences of your action. But it takes a lot of time and effort to develop good judgment. A bad way to go about judgment is to just rely on your past experiences and think that most things will behave the way they did in the past. That's why, according to Naval, instead of relying on your past experiences, you need to have principles that are more general and that also have withstood the test of time. And these principles are often defined as mental models. So what is a mental model? A mental model is simply a representation of how something works. So in real world, the actual phenomena is quite complicated and it has different parts, and for our brains it becomes difficult to process that kind of information every time. That's why these mental models help to simplify those complex concepts and help us make a quicker decision in crucial moments. So the first mental model by Naval is the principal agent problem. There is a famous quote by Julius Caesar: "If you want to get it done, then go. If not, then send." So the principal agent problem explains the relation between a principal and an agent. So principal here means owner or someone who owns that particular task, product, process. It can be anything. And the agent is a person that you are hiring to get help in that particular project. So let's say if you want to develop a website for your own, then you will be the principal in that process. And if you are hiring a web designer, then he would be the agent. The situation can be reverse also. You might be working as a freelancer. So in that case, you would be the agent and the person who you are working for is the principal. Now the problem here is that when you own something, you work for it differently. You want to create the best product, you want to create the best company, whereas the person who is just working for you, his or her incentives would be different. So if you're working for someone, you need to think how they would think instead of just depending on your personal incentives if you want to make progress in your career. Similarly, when you're hiring someone, you need to think of aligning their incentives with your incentives, so that way you can get the best out of this mutual relationship. The next mental model is inversion. It simply means to invert a problem. So let's understand with an example. So let's say you want to get fitter and lose 10 kg weight. Then instead of asking yourself, how can I lose 10 kg weight? You can ask yourself, why would I not lose that 10 kg weight? That way you can directly see those obstacles and accordingly act so that you can minimize these obstacles in your journey. The third mental model is compound interest. I'm sure all of you have heard about this mental model, but according to Naval, it is one of the most important mental models. The biggest gains in life, whether it's about your relationship, wealth, or any other area, those are made with the help of compounding. But the main problem with compound interest is that we cannot process how big something can become even if only small increment over time is happening. To understand compound interest well, you can take this simple example. Let's say you have 1 rupee and every day that 1 rupee is doubling. That means if today you have 1 rupee, tomorrow it will become 2 rupees and day after that it will become 4 rupees. And if this process happens for 30 days, can you guess what would be the final amount? The fourth mental model is if you can't decide, the answer is no. Now this mental model won't help you make day-to-day decisions, whether you want to go for a walk, if you want to eat healthy, order or not order, but this mental model will definitely help you make good long-term decisions. So if it is a decision about your career or the person you want to marry, if you are unable to decide about it, the better option is to say no. According to Naval, in modern world, we are always connected to everyone through the internet, and because of that, we have way too many options. And if it is a long-term decision, you will have to live with that decision for a long time. And it's a possibility that you will regret that decision than not. So to avoid regret in life, you need to make use of this mental model. Then the fifth mental model here is run uphill. In simple words, it means if you are finding difficult to make a decision, then take the path that is more difficult in short term. So this mental model avoids a behavioral bias that humans have, that is known as hyperbolic discounting, due to which we discount our future options which are generally better. So human brain tries to avoid short-term or immediate pain, and because of that it often leads to more pain or more trouble in the future. For example, choosing an unhealthy snack or dessert, choosing not to exercise today, these are immediate decisions that have long-term bad consequences on you. So in such situations, the answer is to run uphill or to take the path that is more difficult right now. And that way you will make sure that you have a healthier and happier long-term life. So these were Naval's 5 mental models that I find very useful in my life. So let me know which of these 5 mental models you would like to use in your life, or any existing mental models that you do use in your life.